How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to some more Link to the Past. In today's video, we're going to be going through Ganon's Tower, which is the final dungeon of the game. Or is it? Now, first thing you might want to do is to fill all your bottles with whatever remedies you feel like putting in there. Blue potions would be very helpful, especially if you're like me and plan on taking a lot of damage. Having green potions as well is going to be really helpful in case you don't take a lot of damage, but you do end up using a lot of your magic from avoiding damage. Or red potions if you somehow don't use any of your magic, which I guarantee you're probably gonna use some of it. Unless you're glitching through the game, then you might not need magic. But even then, you might still need some. You never know. I don't really think there's any new enemies here. Pretty sure that most of them, I mean, there might be one or two new enemies, but I believe most of the enemies that we encounter here are ones that we've faced from previous dungeons, so you don't really expect anything new here. It's basically just testing all your skills and really everything that you've done to get this far. So, yeah, I decided to take a path down here first. I believe you can go to the right side as well. You might even be able to go upstairs right away. Just kind of depends on which route you decide to go. I believe this is one of the few dungeons where you actually can kind of go multiple directions and not really be penalized for it, but I'm not certain on that. I just chose this route because I have no idea, actually. I think it was, I don't know, because I didn't do this one with the Zelda dungeon walkthrough, surprisingly, because I wanted the challenge to be there, you know. But yeah, I guess left just seems like the ideal option. So you could be like me, go left, or you can go on your own and figure out your own way, whatever floats your boat. Dungeon's going to make use of a lot of your items that you've acquired through the journey. There's going to be some interesting puzzles here and there, but for the most part, it's things you're going to be used to, and you're going to notice I'm probably going to fail quite a few times throughout this tower, dungeon, whatever you want to call it. But thankfully, it's not really set up so that you have to do the entire thing in one sitting. You could just do like one area and then end back up in the main room and then go get some potions or whatnot and then continue from there. You don't have to do everything right away. If you're very skilled with this game, which I am not, you could probably do everything just, without using any potions or anything. That's just kind of up to you and how you play. Personally, I would like to get maybe a little bit better at the game, but I don't know. It doesn't really bother me too much that I struggle quite a bit. I mean, I did beat it on the GBA version, like the actual Game Boy Advance, except I played in SP, and I was able to complete the game there. So I know I have it in me to do maybe a tiny bit better, but a tiny bit. Like, I would still get a ton of game overs with that one. I believe that once we beat the game, there's a counter that tells us how many times we died. I would have to look at my GBA version, like the cartridge, because I know I've died quite a few times. I believe this room here, the little fireball thingies will go off every time you swing your sword, so an easy way to not to take damage is just to use items that aren't your sword. And I believe there's a few rooms that do that here. And once again, you'll see me continuously perish a few times, but since this video is being uploaded, you must know that I do survive. Maybe, unless I just got tired of perishing and just decided to upload what I had. You never know. So we can make our way down here, and you might be wondering, is there an item for this dungeon? And there actually is. It is, spoiler alert, it is the red mail. And what that is going to do is allow us to take more damage. I believe it halves the damage from the blue mail, meaning that we're going to be like super overpowered now. And that's pretty cool because we like being overpowered, especially now that we have the level 3 Master Sword and an upgraded shield. And you might be wondering why you could buy shields in this game. So there is an additional reason for that in this one. In the original version, I believe it was just those like little plant thingies that could eat your shield up. In this game, there's actually likes, and they're only in one area, I believe. And that area is kind of like in the middle of nowhere. Like, you don't really ever need to go to that area. I mean, I've already pretty much beaten the game by this point, and I've never needed to head to that spot, so that tells you just how like uncommon it is to go to that area. So you really don't need to worry about it too much, unless you want your shield to be eaten because you want to see Link running without a shield in the main menu or file select, whatever you want to call it. In that case, go for it. I know in Ocarina of Time, I always used to like having a save file where Link didn't have a shield, just because it's fun to see him, like, see his animations without it. Although he does do a lot of the same animations, regardless of whether or not you have a shield. Like, he'll always keep his hand up, even if he doesn't have a shield. And I would assume it's the same case for Twilight Princess as well. But I don't think Skyward Sword does that, because your shield can be unequipped, like, at any time, so maybe not there, and maybe not with the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom game. I don't know about those two. Granted, I did play Tears of the Kingdom on the channel, but I never really paid much attention to Link's hands in that game. I was more focused on trying to survive and not perish. But for this room, we can use our, I believe this is the Aether Medallion, and that's going to reveal the path to us. There's a skip you can do. I think it involves Pegasus boots, because I did do it on a different, I don't think I recorded, but there was a different playthrough that I was, or a different file I was playing on, and I think it was the SNES version that I played on. And what you can do for this room, there's like a little spot up where the skulls are. Let's see if I go there or not. Yeah, right up here, there's a spot there if you use the Pegasus boots, and I think you have to kind of like hold your right button to make Link go right. I believe if you like kind of aim it perfectly, you get launched over, and that'll let you skip the room, which is nice. But we don't really need to do that, nor did I know about the trick right now, so it is what it is. So we are going to use our Aether Medallion and just brave our way across here, which isn't terribly difficult. As you can tell, you just kind of time everything out, and it works out just fine. You know, you will be using a lot of magic if you choose to do it this way, but that's to be expected, right? So, I was like, oh yeah, I think you might be able to throw the frozen guys. I'm not sure though. I think you can use the fire rod to light that torch to show a path as well. I think I might have just wasted a bunch of magic. But you know, that's a learning experience for me, right? Always good to acquire new information. One thing that I should say before the video is over, in case I forget to mention it, you don't need to get your bombs and arrows to 100% capacity, really for the final boss or even this dungeon. It's nice having extra stuff, but for the most part, it's not necessary. But you will see in the next video that I do have my bombs and arrows to maximum capacity, just because of 100% completion's sake. You gotta do it. And, you know, something just feels good about having, like, a full inventory, you know? I don't know if I die here or not. Oh, no, I didn't. Awesome. And then I believe once we get the key from this top room, I think it's the big key, if I'm not mistaken, which I might be. But I'm not 100% certain. Let's see. As I struggle across the floor. Yeah, so this here is going to be the big key, and then some nice little goodies off to the side. So I believe by this point in the dungeon, we really don't need to do anything else on this floor, I don't think. I'm pretty sure we could use the magic mirror. But I think I just backtrack here, because I didn't really know my way. I know the game tells you this, and I've probably mentioned it in a video, maybe not. You can run against those walls that have the little circle things around them. Although you can always use a bomb like I do. I think I might have actually remembered it when I hit that one. I was just like, no, I want to use a bomb. So here's where we get our red tunic. Now, in my opinion, I, uh, I feel like Turtle Rock might have been a better spot to get the tunic. But at the same time, I believe it's Zelda 1 that you get the red mail, or the red ring, in the final dungeon, I think. I don't remember for certain. Ugh. But I believe that's where you get it. So I guess it kind of makes sense that they're going like based off Zelda 1. They feel that you should get the best defense in the final area, but I feel Turtle Rock might have been a little bit better. But it is locked off behind the little barrier thing at the front, so you couldn't get it early. Unless you do some pretty extreme exploration glitches. And I think that's one of the only times we used the Cane of Samaria. Or is it the Cane of Burnia? Whatever cane it is, I think that's the only time that you use it to hold on a switch. But I'm not sure. So I forget if it's this game or not that you can stand in the doorway and you won't take damage from the tiles. I think I tried that in one of the earlier dungeons and it didn't work. So it might not be in this game. But there's so many ways to avoid it. I just, when at times like that, I just feel like tanking the hits, just why not, Because we're getting pretty close to the point where we can head back to that main floor area and restock all our stuff. And for the most part, this next area that we're going to be heading to, it's not terribly difficult. And I would argue that the main boss fight of this dungeon's really not that difficult. It's probably even easier, in my opinion, than the boss of the first dungeon in the game. Which is a little strange, but I think... I think it's to show Link's growth. Like, who he's become as a person, as a warrior. Now, he doesn't exactly grow like how he does in Ocarina of Time, how he's kind of forced into his 16-year-old body, but I feel like he definitely matures a lot in this game, just from his adventure going from one world to the other and seeing the effects of just switching worlds and dark magic. It's really interesting, just how they show the growth throughout different Zelda games and everything. So unfortunately, if we want to go through the next room, we do have to light all these torches, which maybe you like these sort of puzzles. I am personally not a fan of the timed puzzles that involve torches. They're just not my cup of tea, but there might be some people who really like them. I think my favorite Zelda puzzles would probably have to be maybe something like these, like the more simple ones, like how are you supposed to get that crystal, How do you do it? Can you use bombs? Well, we see here that bombs don't quite reach. You might be able to time it perfectly, but in my case, it wasn't happening. And then I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. There's another weapon we can use. And I'll get to that in just a sec. As soon as I stop throwing these bombs. If that ever happens. Yeah, I was not giving up when I played. Yeah, Cane of Samaria, that's what it's called. A feature you might not know about, because I don't know if it tells you or not. I cannot remember that for sure. But you can actually throw these blocks and then use them as projectiles, which I don't think they do a whole lot of damage. I think it's like the fighter sword amount of damage. So it's nothing terrific, but it's something if you kind of want to keep your distance from an enemy. And it's so nice being able to kill those red dudes in 2 hits compared to, like, remember when we first encountered them in the Tower of Hera? How they took a bajillion hits to go down? I like the progression in this game a lot. Now, it's not my favorite Zelda game. That's, I think, still gotta go to Ocarina of Time. But this is definitely top 5, next to Twilight Princess, Link Between Worlds, and then probably one of the Oracle games, like a linked game. Probably my top 5. I do like the newer games. They're just not really my cup of tea in terms of favoritism. I still really like them. And this room's a pretty good use of the magic cape, just for those little fireball things. And in this room here, we have to do a little something called pulling the... I think they're supposed to be Armos statues, but I'm not sure. If anyone knows and wants to let me know, please let me know, because I don't know if they're actually Armos statues or not. I mean, I know they don't come alive in this game, but I think they are Armos statues, but I'm not sure. And I think this will take us back... Oh no, this isn't the entrance. I don't know where this is. But there we go. That proves that using the torch in that room where I kept using the Aether Medallion would have actually been beneficial. Except I didn't really think of it at the time, even though I played this game multiple times, and I'm pretty sure that I actually did use them at one point to light up the floors, but, you know, we're just gonna pretend I didn't use the Aether Medallion. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Alright, I think this is where we can use the mirror. Yeah, because we've gotten everything we can get from the basement area. Now it's going to be time to head upstairs. So, here's a good time to kind of restock up on all your items. Just get everything you need to get. As you see that all my hearts are replenished. Got a decent amount of magic. And I purchased all my potions back. Only one potion. I guess I was feeling bold. Which I had right to do so, because the rest of the dungeon's not terribly difficult. I mean, there's some areas that you might struggle a bit, but if you take use or take advantage of all your items, you'll be fine. I forget what I was just gonna say. I always lose my train of thought. I don't remember. This would be a good room to use the magic cape if you're really struggling a lot to take care of these guys. What you can do for the red dudes is, while he's firing his little fire thing at you, you can activate the magic cape. That way you won't take damage, but you'll still be in his line of sight. And then you can use a silver arrow on him, and I believe that's going to one-shot kill him. Otherwise, you can just kind of do what I did, and then just hope for the best, which I think that might be what I do here. Oh no, it bounces off your shield, so you don't even need to use the magic cape. That's actually really cool. Forgot about that. See, I don't appreciate the finer things as Zelda games that not intentionally, I don't intentionally miss out on some of this stuff. It's just I don't think about it, you know? But that is really cool that the mirror shield just kind of has some hidden effects that you might not think about, which I might not think about. Maybe some other people would think about, but I personally did not think about them. So I don't think the red shield can block these guys in their attacks. That's cool that this shield can. Because I don't think it can block anything from Agahnim or Ganondorf, or Ganon. Which is a little unfortunate. Excuse me. But it is what it is, you know? Can't block everything. That'd be too OP, I suppose. It might be able to block the Beamos. I'm not sure on that one. Okay, I guess it can. That is actually really nice. Unless that was just... Oh, it might have been that dude's fire. And I forget if there's a way to disarm the Beamos. Or stop them, at least. You might be able to use the Aether Medallion to freeze them. Or the Ice Rod. I think you can, actually. But I'm not 100% certain on that. Oh, yeah, it's this room. This room looks a little complicated, and maybe it is a little complicated. But you could just use the magic cape all the way through the room, if you'd like. Unless you want to conserve your magic, you can just take your time, which I do not choose to do so. And in fact, I think I just run for it. Maybe. Guess I felt like killing this guy. And I never noticed this before, but Do the enemies when killed with silver arrows have a higher chance of dropping more arrows, or is that just something exclusive to this dungeon? Because I thought in the past they only dropped like 5 arrows or so, but maybe they dropped more. I'm not sure. Yeah, and this is a good magic cape room. See? Easy peasy, as long as you cheat. And I believe that little platform there, it is accessible from, I think you have to bomb a wall in a particular area. I don't remember where it is, but we don't need to go to that room, obviously, because I'm making progress still. Progress is good. And here we are in the sort of final gauntlet area of the dungeon. You're going to be encountering, I think these are Stalfos, but no, these aren't Stalfos. I don't know what these guys are called. But there's going to be Bimos, there's going to be those little thingamajigs from the Thieves' Hideout. Just kind of a variety of enemies in this area. And for the most part, you can just wail on them however you want to. You could use your medallions, you could use your arrows, you could use your bombs, your rods. Whatever you feel like using, you can use, because this is about asserting dominance. We are overpowered now, and it is time to show it. So, do whatever you feel like doing to kill everything. And just make sure you kill everything. Except the Beamos, because they don't like to die. Unless you like to, I don't know, freeze them. That counts as dying. Now, I couldn't be mistaken on this, but I think you can freeze them and blow them up, maybe, but the more I think about that, it sounds less and less believable. But maybe we can. I really don't know. And another bunny thing, which I don't know why they just put it a random one in the room. Maybe you take more damage when you're Bunny Link, because you're wearing the green mail, but I really don't know. Maybe it's just for show? I don't know. And our final little boss fight is it going to be against, I think these are called Landmolas, which were the second boss of the game, which is very, very nostalgic, perhaps, though we're finally facing off against these guys again. Very, very sad. Anyways, a little restocking room. I think the items are always set, but I don't know. I feel like they would be. Like they're always going to be under the specific pot. Okay, that was pretty cool. I couldn't remember if that worked or not, but evidently it did. So, does anyone else like those sort of invisible rooms, like with the floors invisible? Personally, I'm not a fan of it, but you know, if they gotta switch things up once in a while, then it's alright, you know? But I'm just not the greatest fan of it. And my Vamos, unfortunately, missed every single enemy in the room. Which is okay, because our golden sword kills them in one hit. And I think these guys might be a one hit, even with the fighter's sword, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they have very much health. Might even be one hit point. Or however health is calculated in this game. I don't know. And it's funny they set the room up like that, whereas using your Pegasus boots, you probably would never, never find danger from those enemies, just because you're so used to running and there's a long pathway that, like, why would they stop you? So, I don't know, I just find it funny. Little Moblin's gonna kill Link the last second. I'm just yawning today. But I think this room is probably the somewhat horrendous room in the dungeon. And it's not even that bad. Not like that one from, was it Turtle Rock? Well, that horrible fire lantern room? That is probably my least favorite room in all of A Link to the Past, where we had to ride around in the little Ganon platform and light everything up. I've always struggled with that room. Like, it is just a big old pain trying to survive. Especially when they're timed. Like, why would you time it, you know? And I don't know how I made that door still, even when I missed that one. Just lucky, I guess. And I really want the skull item there. And now I'm back to a gauntlet, which is not too difficult. You can use the hook shots on these guys, I'm pretty sure. Or bombs. Whatever you want to do. You can use Beamos on them too, I'm pretty sure. Bombos. Just however you want to destroy him, go for it. Okay, I guess it just stuns them, not remove their mask. Which is a little weird. You'd think that this might be where they got that idea from, for removing the masks, but I guess not. I wonder why Agahnim or Ganon set up their castle like this, like with all these booby traps. So is there like some sort of secret passageway for him to go through that he has to like he can take to avoid all this, or is this just something that you have to go through every time you want to get up to your little office area? Because this is pretty stupid. Like, if he didn't make any sort of secret passageway out of here, which you'd think he would, but maybe he didn't. I don't know. And I thought the Landmola was the final boss of the dungeon, but I forgot about this one. It was a lot easier now that we have the level 2 or level 3 Master Sword. See, all it took was 2 spawn attacks. And now it is pretty much time for the boss of this dungeon, which I always thought this place took a lot longer, but it only took me 30 minutes, which is pretty surprising. But I guess having slightly more wisdom than my 12-year-old self is very helpful in this case. And yeah, the final boss of Ganon's tower is not Ganon, but Agahnim, which I believe is... I think they're supposed to be 2 separate people. Even though, like, you'll see what happens, but I think they're supposed to be 2 separate people, from what I understand. But Agahnim's sort of like a vessel. And for the most part, the fight is playing out the same as the first one. You just gotta knock the volleyballs back at him. The dead man's volleyballs, I should say. The only difference this time being that there's 3 of them. If you're having a little bit of trouble, you could use the cape just to avoid some damage. But his volleyball attacks don't really do too much damage, so it's not too big of a deal. Just always want to be careful that you avoid his evil electrical attack. Oh no! Ganon! I like this part here. He somehow calls the duck in. Like, how does he do that? It's a Dark World, for gosh sakes. I don't know. I just don't know. But that is going to do it for this video.